Welcome to the Flicks, Picks, and the Nitpicks, and I am your humble host, Nose 718. Let's do it. This is season 2. This is season 2 of the actual show. Hopefully, going into 2021, we'll be able to put out a lot more shows, a lot dense. Moving into season 2, I'm hoping that I can actually start giving you more of the actual show about like movie news. Just keep you abreast and brief on my thoughts on what's going on and what I've been reading. And hopefully you enjoy what we're doing with the new format as we move forward. I'm going to try to keep it tighter, a little bit more dense. And you guys let me know in the comments below how you like it so far, man. So, without further ado, man, let's just get into the shenanigans, man. We have Mad Max, the prequel, Furiousa. And this is coming to you directly from comicbookmovienews.com. And it says, while they may have sacrificed the entire 2021 slate, it looks like Warner Brothers is still keen on releasing future films in theaters first, as they've officially set a release date for Furiosa. 8 years after Academy Award winner Charlize Theron, F9 and the Old Guard made the part iconic, Furiosa is returning to the silver screen in a big way with her very own film. Except this time it will be rising star Anna Taylor-Joy, the Queen's Gambit, and the New Mutants, who takes on the role to tell the untold origins of one of Max Rokatansky's fiercest allies. I never knew what his last name was, so that fucked me up when I read it before we did the show. So pardon that. While their 2021 theatrical slate will be splitting time with HBO Max, Warner Brothers has officially announced that Furiosa will be hitting theaters on July 21st, 2023. It'll open a week before an untitled Marvel studio film, which could potentially be Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Academy Award winner George Miller of Mad Max Fury Road, 3,000 Years of Longing, will return to the director's chair, utilizing a screenplay he co-wrote with Nico Lathorius. Mad Max Fury Road. In addition to Taylor-Joy in the title role, Chris Hemsworth, Thor: Love and Thunder, Avengers: Endgame, and primetime Emmy Award winner Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, Watchmen, and The Matrix 4. Watchmen, not the movie, but the series, will co-star. Details on their characters are currently being kept under wraps, but Hemsworth is rumored to be playing the villain. Now, for the most part, I haven't seen Fury Road in quite some time. I've seen it once. Liked it a lot, actually. I didn't lose my mind like everyone else did, but it's actually a damn good film and well directed. Cinematography is amazing. The landscapes, like how they even shot it, and the fact that they utilized went out of his way to utilize as much practical effects as possible, is really what spoke to me. I love what I've seen. I actually like seeing Charlize Theron in the role. So I was surprised that they're doing a prequel, and I guess going that far back to get the girl from the New Mutants, which is, I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen the New Mutants yet, so I don't know if it's inspired casting. But I'm sure that they could dress her to look the part, so they're going that far back. I don't know if they plan on telling any stories moving forward with Charlize Theron, but I'm very familiar with the fact that there was some onset issues from before. So when I knew that they was going to do a separate film, I thought they still was going to utilize her. I didn't know that it was just going to be the focus on the prequel. I couldn't remember if I knew it was a prequel or not, because I always assumed that Charlize Theron was always going to be part of the film. But as we see, it's not that, and we shall see. Maybe they'll add her into it so it seems like she's talking about her story, which would be cool, or it ends on a note where you see Furiosa. I'm sure they're gonna show how she loses her arm. I'm sure that's gonna be probably the major part of the film. But again, I look forward to it. And that's, for the most part, that's that. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I don't know if you guys are wrapped into Mad Max, the lore, the history and the films thus far. But let me know in the comments below whether or not you guys are interested, excited, and look forward to seeing this prequel. Next up, this one is coming to you from CBR.com, and they report that Charlie Cox's Daredevil joins Spider-Man 3. A new report suggests that Charlie Cox's Daredevil is joining Sony Pictures and Marvel Studios' upcoming third Spider-Man film. Charlie Cox's incarnation of Matt Murdock / Daredevil is reportedly joining the ever-growing cast of Spider-Man 3. According to Murphy's Universe, the deal to bring Cox's Daredevil into Spider-Man 3 has been in place for several months now. Cox played Matt Murdock / Daredevil in all the 3 seasons of Marvel Netflix's series, marking the character's first major foray into live action since 2003's film starring Ben Affleck. The show helped launch an entire Netflix universe of Marvel superhero shows, but it, along with the others, was ultimately canceled. Fan interest in Daredevil has found a new life as of late, thanks to the hashtag Save Daredevil campaign, as well as the 2-year anniversary of the show's cancellation. Notably, it was widely reported that Daredevil was off limits to Marvel Studios for 2 years after being canceled thanks to Marvel Television's contract with Netflix. With that embargo now lifted, it appears the man without fear is fair game for Kevin Feige and company. Filming for the Spider-Man 3 began in Atlanta, GA in late October, and while the plot of the sequel is being kept under wraps, there's still plenty that can be gleaned based on other recent casting announcements and rumors. Benedict Cumberbatch will appear as Dr. Stephen Strange. Jamie Foxx will reprise his role as Electro from The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Alfred Molina from Spider-Man 3 will return as Doc Octopus, and Andrew Garfield and Kirsten Dunst, who play Peter Parker and Mary Jane Watson in both of the aforementioned Spider-Man franchises, are also expected to feature. These announcements have led many to believe the movie will explore the concept of the multiverse, which was alluded to in Far From Home, but ultimately proved to be a ruse by Mysterio. Spider-Man 3 is also rumored to bring the Miles Morales incarnation of the web-slinger into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Miles was given a quick nod in Homecoming with Aaron Davis, the Prowler, and Miles' uncle in the comics, but a low-level criminal in the film mentioned he had a nephew. Finally, it's been heavily suggested that Tobey Maguire could play a role in the movie, joining the other 2 modern live-action Spider-Man. Directed by John Watson, currently untitled sequel to the Spider-Man Far From Home stars Tom Holland, Zendaya, Jacob Batalon, Jamie Foxx, Alfred Molina, and Benedict Cumberbatch, and the film arrives in theaters December 17th, 2021. Now, this article was on CBR.com, completely credited to them. I kind of wanted to read the whole thing out, so we can at least get the whole totality of what's supposedly going on. Now, I was already aware that they've been talks about Daredevil coming into the Spider-Man 3. I wasn't sure until it was finally confirmed. I seen Charlie Cox and certain little things where he's shouting out people for pulling together for the Save the Daredevil campaign, which I think is an amazing thing that fans are like pulling together to show the interest, and maybe that it helps execs figure out how to make a film that will not only entertain the fans, but also make the fans want to come back for more and do some interesting things, which I think is also dope. Even though I'm not a fan of like aggressive, yo, get rid of the so-and-so or hire this person. I'm not really a big fan of that per se, but I am a fan of fan enthusiasts like creating hashtags and campaigns in a positive note to express how much they like old characters, or let them know how much interest there is for it. So maybe down the line there might be something worth mining. I mean, they're letting you know, hey, there's a market for us out here for more of this incarnation. Just to like beat the drums. And I think it's just a beautiful thing that fans can engage with the studios in a certain kind of manner, such as that, which is real peaceful, real trying to find ways to get in the face without being dickheads about it, obviously, and really, you know, like starting online arguments and shenanigans. Like, that negative shit is not needed. This is supposed to be fans that love it. The thing that I never understood is the fans that don't love it, leave the fans that love it to do what they want to do. Why would you want to, you know, like kick somebody's sandcastle over while they building it? Like, who you want to be that dickhead? If you like your other films, go watch your other films. You know what I'm saying? There's no need to get mad at it. So to me, I like seeing that they're doing this. I love the Daredevil series. I didn't see the last season, which I gotta do, but I love the series. I thought it was excellent. I was in the air about the costume, I'm not gonna lie. It just didn't look right, like the helmet. Like, I don't know, it just rub me wrong, but for the most part, as a live action incarnation, the story was well written, well engaged, and I think it had probably the Marvel Universe's best villain and most like compelling villain in the Kingpin. Like, he was heavily fleshed out and easy to understand, and even in a way kind of like sympathize with on certain topics. So like I said, Daredevil was like an excellent series. I know Kevin Feige, he's always come off as a type of guy that he only wants to make his own version of it. He don't want to touch whatever anybody else does or interweave it. But looking at Spider-Man 3, and I don't care what anyone says, if you ask me, Kevin Feige be taking ideas from Warner Brothers when they're discussing it, and they'll go out, put it ahead of time in front of everyone. It's just they had way more time and like planning. Creating those bigger stories will have a larger impact as opposed to DC jumping into large stories from the rip. You know, maybe if they would have had their universe ahead of Marvel, perhaps, but because Marvel casts such a deep and far foreboding shadow, it's hard for anyone to try to do anything new up underneath it that won't be compared to and expect to follow the path that the MCU has already laid down. So them jumping into the multiverse is an interesting concept. It sounds like this is exactly where they're gonna go. I'm sure they're gonna bring in these exact characters, unless he's gonna try and change up the rendition. Like, i.e., I don't think he's gonna accept that Electro. I think this Electro is not from the Amazing Spider-Man universe. I have a feeling that he may be different, and his origin may be different. His origin may actually be built within Spider-Man 3 on the low, but he will be a different incarnation of Electro. And the reason why I believe this, and I'm not surprised that they went to do this, one, they want to jump into big stories and not get caught up in origin. So it makes sense to take what was like pretty much helmed as one of the best comic book movies ever created in Spider-Man 2, grab the villain from there, so you don't have to worry about doing an origin story for everyone to create this, which I really think they still want to do. Sony, a Sinister Six film. So take the best of all the worlds. And the thing that's so beautiful about it is now that you can actually tell like an old man Spider-Man story, because now that you brought them back in, they could jump out and do movies here and there, and that could all go to Disney Plus. It don't even have to be the lead films in the theaters. Or they could kind of like, and I have a funny feeling this was probably part of the deal, to use the new Spider-Man MCU to refresh your old Spider-Mans, so you could tell those stories with your Sinister Six, so we could keep Spider-Man over here, and we don't have to deal with you directly like that. I have a funny feeling that might be the way they go with it. It's very possible, not sure, but by opening up the multiverse, you allow for Sony to mine the fuck out of Spider-Man, which they've been wanting to do. These are their big franchises, and this is a good way to expand the universe and give you two separate Spider-Mans that you could play with in your own Sonyverse with your characters, and you can keep our Spider-Man here and he could play in our sandbox. And if they ever cross, it'll be in multiverse storylines, or maybe they'll be double gangering in another film. So you could have total control over yours, and we could have total control over ours, which could be a smart little hustle if you get what I'm grasping. You could keep a version of Tobey Maguire here if you like, or you could keep your, like, he comes over into our multiverse, but then once we boot him back out, he goes back to his universe. Now you could continue his story from there. That could be your Spider-Man, and we don't have to keep arguing over Tom Holland, because Tom Holland's still young, and he's gonna probably be a senior in this film, and they want to grow this character for many more years, and they want to keep on. And from what I understand, I think they already extended their deal. This is a great way to sweeten the pot to extend the deal. Use a multiverse extended deal so we can reboot all of that. We can create your Miles Morales, because I know they don't want to do Miles Morales as Spider-Man. You don't want to do all of that right now. And technically speaking, in the book, Miles Morales came from another universe. That would be so dope to play with. You could kill off one of those Spider-Mans and say he came out of that universe, or say that a Spider-Man died in his universe that probably looked just like Tom Holland. That boosts him to come out, and then when he crosses into the multiverse, he runs into Tom Holland's Peter Parker, which would make sense because he's within that age range anyway when Peter Parker died in high school. Now you could bring him from one universe into this universe and be like, yo, you're still alive, and he could recognize Tom Holland, but Tom Holland's gonna be like, I never met you before a day in my life. It's because this is Miles Morales from another universe. Even though they hinted at him in part 2, I think this is where you could use Miles Morales from another universe to play with, and still use Donald Glover to look at him and be like, oh shit, my nephew. But at the same time, technically speaking, in the MCU universe, Miles Morales could be pretty young. He could be 11 at this point. We don't know. He could say, Dad, man, yo, you grown, and be like, nah, he's from another universe. Excuse me. So it's just an idea that I've been posturing, trying to figure out where they're going to go with it. But it's fun to speculate, fun to talk about. And let me know what you guys think. Do you think I'm tapping on anything that resonates with you? Leave it in the comments below, man. You already know, man. I'm excited to see what happens. Most importantly, Daredevil being in Spider-Man 3 is going to be a good look, because I do want to see this Daredevil come back in some sort of way, shape, or form. And maybe they can give him a series, or he may live on in the movies. But I kind of hope we could get a streaming series of Daredevil, because I think Daredevil could tell a lot of, like, I love the overarching stories that they did there, but they could take it old school, and he could do it by the cases. It could be like a Perry Mason thing, and case by case. A case could be 2 episodes or 3. Like, that's what I would do. Like, his next season, I'll probably do one full overarching story if he comes to Disney Plus. But then the next season, I'll play with it, and it'll be just a series of just short stories. Like maybe 1 episode stories where he meets someone, saves them from a situation, yada, yada, yada. The next episode could be a 2 episode part, or 3. You might still have like something weaving through all of them, but they could all exist independent small stories, like small books. And that will be kind of dope to see. Like I said, Charlie Cox is an excellent actor. Especially, I don't think anyone could fill those shoes. Like, he did so much with the character that I think no one could fill those shoes. So I'm glad that Kevin Feige is gonna go that route. It does behoove him to do that, to ensure good confidence with your audience. And you're already leading by so much. And when you see these campaigns working for Batman, for the DCU with hashtag release the Snyder Cut, why not show good faith that you're paying attention to your fan base and you're trying to give them the type of series that they want? Like I said, I'm cool if they didn't, but I'm glad that they're actually seriously considering it. Because like I said, even for fans, all of us, whether I agree with every fandom or not, I don't think that if you want great stories, sometimes you have to allow for the creators to just give you something that's out of their mindset and see where it goes. But at the same time, I'm also a fan of even the guys that produce it looking at what the fan base is paying attention to and trying to, cater a little bit to that. But in any event, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Are you excited? Are you happy that they're bringing Daredevil bringing Charlie Cox's version of Daredevil back and him showing up into the MCU? Are you excited? Look forward to it. Leave in the comments below. The Batman pushed to 2022. And this story is brought to you by CNBC.com. And let's just get into the article. More than 500 movie theaters in the U.S. will close before this week, and sending the film industry into a tailspin. On Monday, Warner Brothers repositioned a number of hotly anticipated movies on its calendar, including Dune and now The Batman. Earlier Monday, Cineworld said it would temporarily shutter all of its US and UK movie theaters due to disappointing box office results and the postponement of films like Black Widow, Wonder Woman, I forgot about Black Widow too, 1984, and No Time to Die. The move from Cineworld, the move from Cineworld, which owns Regal Cinemas, meaning more than 7,000 movie screens will disappear for the foreseeable future. That loss has forced Warner Brothers to rethink its distribution strategy. In addition to postponing Dune, the studio has moved its new Matrix film to December 2021. The Batman has moved into 2022, and Black Adam no longer has an official release date. Wow. The postponement could be a boon for The Batman, which saw its production shut down after lead actor Robert Pattinson tested positive for the coronavirus in early September. The comic book movie had been delayed for months due to the pandemic, and had only just restarted production when it was forced to pause for 2 weeks. The film has resumed shooting in the UK and is expected to wrap by the end of the year. The Cineworld closures and the changes in the film calendar led cinema stocks to crater on Monday. AMC fell more than 11%, Cinemark was down more than 17%, and Marcus Theater saw its shares slip more than 6%. It is likely that more studios will push their films and that more cinemas will be forced to close or alter operations. If theaters are closed and the studios have a reason to delay, Michael Patcher, an analyst at Wedbush, said in an email to CNBC, keep in mind that the slowdown stoppage of production from March-July impacted the 2021 slate, so these delays are back filling holes created by the production stoppage. Again, not surprised, to be quite honest. We're in a pandemic. There's a lot of things going on in the world today, and we're just trying to use movies. Well, actually, if movie was already a fixation, we just use this as a distraction to keep us from what's going on in the world today. And Lord knows more than enough has this year that's closing. But in any event, one of the biggest things that we want to focus on, we know that this article was written or published October 5th, right? So it's a while ago, but I was already well aware of it. But this is where we can at least discuss it a little bit better. There's a lot of rumors swirling around the Batman anyway, which I was already aware of. We never got a chance to bring it to the channel, but I don't know if it was even worth discussing, because a lot of it seemed to be rumor milled. Whether there was issues with Robert Pattinson on set, whether him joking in that GQ article was really a joke, or was he really being serious? But either way, I like to think that the way that they've been talking about Robert Pattinson's the Twilight series, I would assume that he would not be interested in anything that would set his progress backwards. That being said, we're all humans and we're all fallible, so we don't know what kind of mindset he has. I've heard stories about the director Matt Reeves wants to leave because he's having a hard time direct Robert Pattinson, who hasn't been bulking up, so now they have to use a lot of stand-ins. All of that I'm already been known about. I'm just not sure if it's 100% true. I could believe it, but at the same time I find it hard to think that Robert Pattinson would take on this role with all the shit that was going on at the time, for him to be real arrogant about it. I just can't see him wanting to do that. There's nothing advantageous about him for him to be smelling his own shit like that. So at the end of the day, I guess we'll just see. I'm not surprised it got pushed back, but hopefully they'll use the time wisely to do all that they can to make what looked excellent in the trailer go the other route and go even further. I love the trailer. I liked what I seen. It was the darling of the darling child, if you will, of DC fandom, because no one even got a chance to see a visual. See, even with release the Snyder Cut, which was the main course of the day. The main reason why you could say that the Batman kind of trumped it, because we didn't see anything. All of this is new. With the Justice League, yeah, there's a lot of things that we haven't seen, but they've been hodgepodge and cut. And so some shots we've seen, we've seen the movie already. So we're just excited to see what Zack Snyder's been telling us that we missed out on. So there's that. But more importantly, it's all about what's going on with the Batman. I like what I see so far. So hopefully they'll use this extra time to just, clean it up, make it even better than what we already just noticed it to be. And hopefully, if there was any shenanigans behind the scenes, this is going to be the time where you had time to bulk up, and if he already did, and that was just a dub, it's all bullshit, rhetoric and rumor mill, then you know what he can do? Make it even better. He has a whole year to do it. Actually, they're already filming it, so it wouldn't even matter anyway. It's just all about when it's releasing. So at that point, it just kind of doesn't matter. They're already in production, and I believe they're still filming, and they just said in the thing that they're gonna wrap up anyway. So it kind of doesn't matter at this point. But at least if they've seen the film and they're really interested, that they already could use this extra time to really weave out 2 and 3 a lot better, especially if they get a lot of good reception from the film that they've already shot. So I look forward to it. Let me know, do you guys look forward to it? Or are you mad that it got pushed back any further? Let me know in the comments below. And with all of that said and done, it brings you here, right back to me. And this is Wonder Woman 84, which actually comes out as of this recording tomorrow. So happy holidays to you and yours. Christmas will be tomorrow. That's when the film should be coming out. And I look forward to seeing it. I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to see it tomorrow. I kind of wanted to go to the theaters to see it, but I don't know if anyone's going to be open. But I'll see how that works out tomorrow. I'll see how I feel tomorrow. But with that being said, Wonder Woman 84, the reviews are in, and I've watched plenty just to get an idea of what's going on. I talked to one of my guys about it, and hopefully we'll get him to the show real soon. But he's even said that, everything from the leaks and everything, it sounds like it's 100% everything that came out of those leaks, and so it seems it is. If you ask me, I've watched all reviews from every guy you could think of. I think I watched Mr. H to Jeremy Jans to 3C. Shout out to them. Go watch those channels. Grace Rudolph. John Campia hasn't done one yet, nor Robert Meyer Burnett that I know of as of the 24th. But I've seen a few and a couple people that I wasn't the biggest familiar with, but I was familiar because I'm into the shit. And from what I gather, I don't think it's as good as I think I'll like it. Let's start off with that. I think I'm gonna like it regardless. I'm easily entertained, and I don't mind different variations. I don't think I'll like it in terms of being part of Zack Snyder's universe, which was, even though they get more, it's a little bit more, a tad more sci-fi, and they're getting real huge with the action sequences and things of that nature. His films were a lot more grounded and very character driven from a grounded level. Now, from what I'm hearing, there's not that much action in it. There's a lot more dialogue, which doesn't bother me. I don't mind a lot more dialogue. I hear it's a whole lot lighter, which I could kind of tell that's where they were going to go with it, even though it still has that darker tone that in terms of cinematography, so it fits in the universe. But like a lighter tone, I already knew that was going to happen. Remember, this movie was I think in production around the time that, or just about to go into production, right around the time with the whole shit with the Justice League cut, if you will, when that came out originally in late, I think 2016. So for me, I'm not surprised it's lighter. This is what you guys pardon me for saying, bitching about. Not my Batman. My Batman doesn't kill, even though he's killed in other movies. My Superman wouldn't let that happen. No, he wouldn't. All right, fine. So they gave you your Christopher Reeve shit, because that's what I keep hearing people keep referring to. And I want to argue something. Let me segue a little bit, and I'll probably do a whole editorial about this, but I'm gonna touch on something. Everybody keeps saying that at least Superman 1 and 2 was some goofy shit. No, it wasn't. The bumbling goofball, if you will, was the character that he created in Clark Kent when he was in Metropolis. Clark Kent, when he goes home, is not like that. I remember the film. The film looked real to me. Well, I was real small though, but the film looked real to me. So when they was selling you on You'll Believe a Man Could Fly, it wasn't no yuck shit. They treated that film very seriously. There's a reason why they went out there and got the Godfather to go play whatchamacallit, Jor-El, a credible Academy Award winning actor, to play in just small scenes. And if I'm not mistaken, he got the lion's share of what all the actors in the movie got. The lion's share of the money. Because he was already a made person. It wasn't to be in no cookie cutter bullshit. That film was shot and filmed like a legit movie. It's when you go into 3 and 4, it gets a little bit more zany and cartoony. The first 2 films were serious and grounded. The only thing that they did was make Clark Kent a klutz. He wasn't like goofy per se. He was just a shy, stuttering klutz, if you will. And that was the only goof about him. Margot Kidder, if you will, she played her role straight up. So other than when you look back, it looking a lot more dated, you can't really legitimately say 1 and 2 were just some goofy films. It really wasn't. That being said, like, because that you got to remember, Superman 1 and 2 was movies that adults watched. It wasn't until 3 and 4 it got to be like kiddish. So let's be clear. That being said, now they wanted to push it more towards the Chris Donner type of films in a classic sense. Your classical hero, if you will. And is there anything wrong with that? It doesn't fit well with the continuity that was started. I'm not mad. I'm just invested in a Wonder Woman, a threatening Wonder Woman. Even though I do like her like I said, the first, to be honest, Wonder Woman 1 was more like Chris Donner's film than anything. It was set during real world issues and complications, but she herself, her naivete, brought the film down to a family level. And then how it was scripted was very much in line with a Disney princess film. Very smart move. Even harking back to when he washed up on the beach and she was just over him looking just as gorgeous as Gal Gadot can. Yeah. So I think that I wasn't mad at that. That was a great blend of the world that Zack Snyder did and what Patty was adding to it. You know, on top of built the house that she built on his foundation. But people forgot. After they removed Zack Snyder, shortly afterwards, what do you remember before they went into production? Patty Jenkins fired everybody that helped her out with the first movie. What does that mean? I told people on the low before. I'm not sure if I brought it to the channel, but I said this before. If you liked Wonder Woman as much as you guys said you felt you did because Zack Snyder was all this horrible, if you will, because Patty Jenkins give her the universe. This is what y'all was saying based on one fucking movie. Monster, which most motherfuckers was talking, did not see that she got the award for, and Wonder Woman 1. If you watch Wonder Woman 1, she had help. Zack Snyder was on set. I'm sure Zack Snyder helped to shoot the action so it could seem seamless with what they were doing. And also, for someone who's never handled a film like that before, you would need his parentage. And I'm not saying she was wrong for getting rid of all of them, but I think she got rid of all of them because she wanted to towel to the public, to the peanut gallery. And I think she tried to make a move that Jeff Johns was trying to do. And now that I found out that he had a lot to do with the writing of it, I don't know if she particularly fired them herself, or Jeff Johns gassed her to do it. But I'm sure she wanted to because she felt like I could do this myself. She got all this cachet off the first movie, and I think she was seduced just like Joss Whedon and Jeff Johns to want to level themselves up and basically take the franchise and be the Kevin Feige's of the universe. And I think that if she wasn't playing party, like helping to push this narrative, I do believe at the very least, she straddled both sides of the fence. I ain't mad if she did that because she need to keep her job, but she don't want to step on a person that brought her into the building. But I've never really heard her talk enough about it. But then when she said, I don't know where they're going to go with it. And I think that was a concern for her. I think she likes a lighter tone. If you ask me, I think that's what she was more interested in. I personally like what Zack Snyder did already. I haven't seen what she done, so that'll be open. I'll leave that open for debate. But at the end of the day, I do feel like people are neglecting the fact that she got rid of a lot of the people that helped build a house on the foundation that Zack Snyder did create, so she could create this new universe. And people forgot this was supposed to be a sort of reboot to the universe into a lighter tone. And it looks like this film won't fit very well, from what I understand, into the already pre-established universe. Furthermore, I'm glad to know because I know what to expect. But I want to take this last little bit of time to discuss why I think that a lot of people are just soft shoeing it. Why I'm getting all of this from, because people seem to speak positive, but I don't like how they do it. See, when they talk of Zack Snyder movies, it's it's so easy to shit on him, so we just he got them killing and shooting and all this extra shit, right? They're real extra about what Zack Snyder did. He's a murderer. No, he didn't just go around murdering people, but he killed in self-defense. That's what Batman was doing. He didn't care, but people forget his story. He's an older Batman. He wasn't always like that. They've established this a BVS. I don't feel like going into all of that right now. But what I'd rather get more into is the idea that everybody, I think people was so, remember, people was always say hit Patty Jenkins the whole franchise. All right, fine. I think now, what a wise woman once said, everybody wants to be wrong and strong. And I think that's what happened. I think all the people that was over praising, and I don't want to feel like I'm knocking Wonder Woman. I really love that film. But everybody was putting it in the sky like it was the best movie ever. And it was like, all right, like, y'all, it didn't feel sincere, like you sincerely felt that way. It felt like it was in opposition to Zack Snyder because it was cool to hate Zack Snyder. Now it is not that cool. What are you starting to notice? It's a lot lighter in tone, not that much fighting. And even how people talk, they soft shoe it. So wait a second, lighter in tone, which you seem to not be interested in. It doesn't flow with the first movie, but okay. But you guys did say you loved that movie, which has Zack Snyder's fingerprint all over it. But that's neither here nor there. And just aesthetic and tonality, you can see Zack Snyder had a lot to do with helping that film come to life. And the muted colors, that was his thing. So she made it more richer in color. The reds start to pop out more. And remember, like, everybody was like, oh, look at the suit, it's lighter, more colors, and you got everything you want. You got your colorful thing, you got your Christopher Reeves Wonder Woman, and now you're not really feeling it. And I could tell. I don't like it as much as the first one. You want to be wrong and strong. Y'all not going to shit on Patty Jenkins the way you shitted on Zack Snyder. You're not going to do that. And I find that fascinating. But needless to say, I'm not going to really, it's not that I want people to double down on Patty Jenkins. It's not that I want people to crap on what she's built, because she sat down and put a lot of effort and work into what she was doing to create this. So, like I said, again, I just feel like a lot of people are faking the funk. They're not being true to the game, being honest about how they really felt about it. I think over time, you're going to hear people throw that film underneath the bus with a lot more animation to it. And I'm not saying I'm looking forward to it. I just kind of see it because the fandom is kind of goofy in that kind of way, man. Like, I don't know, man. But not needless to say, I still look forward to it. That's my baby gal, and I'm going to go check Mama's out. I'm going to go check it out. I like what Patty Jenkins done before. I've always meant to go watch Monster. It seems like she has ideas moving forward, but she also seems to not really be sure what she's going to do moving forward, because we got to see how people receive it. And for all you know, if it's not received well, Warner Brothers might move on from Patty, or they might give Patty another crack at the whip. But we shall see. We already know that she's planning a Themyscira spinoff and a Wonder Woman 3. So until we see that and see those stories be told, yeah, like, listen to your reviewers, your trusted reviewers as always, but go check out the film for yourself and see what it's hitting for yourself. That's how I feel, man. With all that, man, we're gonna get up out of here, man. I hope you enjoy what we've been doing so far. Enjoy your holiday seasons. Yes, I've been grinding. There's a lot of pre-recorded stuff that needs to be produced. That I gotta start producing out now. It's just we're doing a whole lot on my end, even during COVID. And I ain't gonna lie, I had some downtime these past couple of days too. I was taking care of other stuff that had nothing to do with me being on my computer, and sometimes that's a cool enough break. But with that being said, let me know in the comments below what you think about what you've heard so far about Wonder Woman 84. Drop it in the comments below. Let me know if you're going to see it tomorrow, or by the time you get to see this video, if you see it today, or if you see it after the fact. Let me know what you think. Did I get you close to did I get close to what they're saying was out there? Let me know in the comments below. All right. So as always, like, share, subscribe. See you next time, and as always, till I have a better outro.